Facts First presents disturbing dashcam photos that'll give you the chills. Funny, crazy, and horrific things happen on the road every day. Unfortunately, people aren't always nearby with a camera waiting to catch those moments. So that's where the dashcams come in. Dashcams were once used only on police cars, but with less expensive cameras now available, people are putting them in their own vehicles. Here are some disturbing dashcam photos that'll give you chills, and some that'll have you on the floor laughing. Touring band. These guys have given going on tour a whole new meaning. One band member's driving, the other two are playing the drums while whizzing down the street. Man, it must take some real talent to play instruments at such high speeds. Car handstand. Cars are not meant to do handstands. People are, but when you see a car doing one, that is a pretty amazing sight to see. Fortunately, someone had a dash cam running at the time, so they caught it all on film. You can only hope the people in the car were wearing their seatbelts at the time because this looks pretty dangerous. Eluding police. The officer in this video pulled a car over, and when he went to speak to the driver, they took off while the officer was somehow caught in the vehicle. He had a nasty fall that broke his arm. Fortunately, he recovered in the hospital, and the officer's dash cam caught the entire thing on video, including the driver's license plate. A dangerous situation. Seeing a deer in the middle of the road can be dangerous. Throwing fire into the road, that can be downright deadly. This car was driving around, somehow throwing fire into the street. They were likely trying to scare people and cause chaos, but fortunately there were no other cars nearby. Off-roading through traffic. There is nothing worse than sitting in traffic. Well, this driver had their dash cam turned on and he was ready to drive past the traffic in the breakdown lane. Fortunately, he didn't, because another driver had the same idea, but he wasn't even driving on the road. He was off-roading through traffic. He's not Superman. This van was once the cargo on a semi that somehow got loose. Now it's rolling down a hill. If you look close, you can see a man under the trailer trying to stop it. Since he's not Superman, there's a pretty good chance that it did not stop until it hit something. You couldn't borrow a truck? This driver had to pick up a load of hay, but he couldn't find a truck. Instead, they just loaded it up on top of their SUV. That turned out to be a pretty dangerous idea because the driver could barely see and other drivers on the road were at great risk. A serious accident. This accident looks very serious. After the car flipped over, it continued sliding down the highway, leaving sparks behind it. Fortunately, it did not collide with any other vehicles before coming to a complete stop. It looks like something from the Fast and Furious, but it happened in real life. A horrible collision. The roads in Russia are often treacherous, which is why many drivers have dash cams. This driver had a dash cam hooked up on a cold day when the roads were slick. The truck carrying this container lost control and hit the car head-on. You can only hope that everyone was okay, but the chances are slim. What is he dragging? This driver's dragging something metal from underneath his car, which is causing sparks to follow him all the way down the driveway. It could be his muffler or something he picked up along the way, but this can be dangerous. Seeing something like this can make it difficult for other drivers to keep their eyes on the road. An attempted kidnapping. This camera captured the shocking footage of an attempted kidnapping. The man in the video tried to kidnap a child, but the boy's siblings saw right away and chased the man. Soon, two teens joined in the chase, and finally the man put the boy down so that he could get away without being caught. Fortunately, that little boy made it home safely. Electrical fire. This worker was out in the rain when a power line came down. It caused a flash of fire that occurred so quickly most people couldn't figure out what had happened. Fortunately, there was a camera running that captured the entire thing. The worker was fortunately wearing rubber boots, which kept him from getting electrocuted. A poorly executed stunt. In Russia, it's not uncommon for people to jump up on car hoods to pretend that they were hit so that they could file a lawsuit. To protect themselves, many drivers install dash cams on their cars. This boy tried the scam, but the camera caught him running to the car and jumping up, trying to make it look like he got hit. Unfortunately, the camera ruined his idea. Road rage. Some people completely lose their minds if they get cut off on the road or if they feel victimized. This man was so angry at the driver of this vehicle, he punched the window out. Fortunately, the driver had the entire thing on film so that the man could be arrested for road rage. Stupid prank. This is one of the most dangerous pranks anyone could pull. The kid thought it'd be funny to ride around on a shopping cart in the middle of a busy highway. He could have killed himself or another driver, all for a stupid prank. The road opens up. Can you imagine what you would do if you were driving down the street and suddenly the concrete in the road opened up and just swallowed your entire car whole? Well, that's what happened to this driver. He had a dash cam and it caught the whole thing. Fortunately, the driver wasn't injured, but they were really shaken up. Come back! This man was driving when the tire on his car suddenly came off and started rolling down the street. Instead of waiting for help, though, he decided to get out of the car and chase his tire. He likely prevented a few accidents when he finally caught up to it, but a lesson can be learned from this. Always make sure that your lug nuts are tight. Another racer. These guys are racing dirt bikes in the woods. The scenery is gorgeous, and they look like they're having fun. One of the riders has a dash cam on his bike, which is how he was able to capture this incredible moment. As he and his buddies are racing down the path, a bear comes out of nowhere and starts chasing them. Fortunately, they're on dirt bikes that are fast enough to outrun the bear. Wrong side of the road. This situation could have gone a lot worse if the driver with the dash cam wasn't such a quick thinker. A bus was driving down the road and the white car decided to pass the bus. Unfortunately, he did not expect there to be another car coming, so the white vehicle was about to hit it head-on. Fortunately, the driver managed to squeeze between the two vehicles, preventing a deadly accident. That's not something you see every day. It isn't uncommon to drive down the street and have a happy little dog chase you. It's not typical for a massive herd of sheep to start chasing you, though. This person's dash cam got the whole thing, and fortunately they were able to stop just in time before any sheep were injured. Terrifying. What can be more terrifying than witnessing a plane crash? Seeing a plane about to crash on the highway that you're driving on? Well, the driver was on a highway in Taiwan when all of a sudden the plane went down. According to reports, the crash was a result of an engine flameout and many people were injured. The fact the driver caught this whole thing on tape is incredible. You can't pull Batman over. Batman spends his time fighting crime. Since he's the good guy, why would the police be pulling him over? He doesn't break the law, he upholds the law. Well, it turned out the officer just wanted to get a picture with Batman. Between the costume and the incredible car, I mean really, who wouldn't want a photo op? A monkey stole my food! This man was just sitting in his truck, minding his own business. He went to pick up some dinner, and on the way home, something shocking happened. Not only did a monkey jump into his truck, but it stole his food and then took off with it. The driver's in shock. He had no idea what to do. I mean, how do you go home and explain to your family that you're not bringing home any food because a monkey stole it from the truck? Who's even going to believe you? Without the dash cam footage, that is. Good thing you had that. Going down! This truck is driving down the road perfectly normal 1 second, but then the next a sinkhole opens up and the truck goes down. For the driver, it had to be terrifying. The same is true for the cars behind the truck. Fortunately, somebody was able to capture the incident on their dash cam, so they had proof of what happened on the road that day. A meteor. In 2013, a meteor streaked across the sky over the Russian city of Chelyabinsk. The meteor burned 30 times brighter than the sun and then exploded. It sent small parts crashing down to Earth, causing destruction. The explosion it caused shattered windows, and many people nearby suffered radiation burns. Many people captured the meteor on their dash cams, and experts believe that the event needed to be studied if we're not going to end up like the dinosaurs. A crazy escape. When you watch this video the first few times, you might not notice anything off. If you look close, you'll see there's a person holding on to the first car while a police car is following close behind. This is a very dangerous police chase. The man on the vehicle and the driver were obviously involved in some kind of crime, and they're trying to make a quick getaway. Mother Nature at her worst. This person was enjoying a leisurely drive when Mother Nature kicked up and started ripping the roof off buildings and tearing buildings down. The driver did their best to outrun the storm, hoping to get away safely. This video is proof of how destructive Mother Nature can be. A horrible scene. This driver was sitting in the car with his dash cam running when a plane literally falls out of the sky. Looks like the engines ultimately gave out because the plane didn't dive to the ground, it just fell. When it hit the ground, the plane exploded, killing everyone on board. A horrific thing to see. Should he be driving? This police officer had their dash cam running when they came upon a vehicle that was swerving down the road. He was sure the driver was drunk, so he pulled them over. The officer was shocked when a 7-year-old boy got out and ran into the house. He told the police that he ran away so he wouldn't have to go to church. Well, the police didn't file charges, and they told the boy's parents they need to hide the keys from now on. The officer said he never expected to see a young boy run out of that car. He was sure that he'd be booking a suspect for a DUI after stopping the vehicle. What's the strangest thing that's ever happened to you on the road? Tell us in the comments, and subscribe for more.